Alright, today we're going to be adding an additional memory chip to Lenovo P50 laptop. First, start by removing the battery, and then go after the screws on this panel here. Turn them until they click. They are attached to the panel, so you don't have to worry about losing them. Start at the top and peel it out. This little divot here, and it will pop up. Set that to the side. Now we remove the screws for the keyboard. We've got 1, 2, 3 screws. These do come out. Turn them until they click. This one came out with my magnetic screwdriver. See if I can get this one to come out. There we go. Okay, now we need to remove the keyboard. So you put your hand on here and you push down and up. Now this may be difficult if your keyboard's never been out before, but you'll see a seam open up here and you can lift just like that and pull out like that. Now you're going to turn it this way, fold it over, and it will sit right there. Don't have to worry about these. I'm not going to take those out. Next we're going to remove this screw here on the silver plate, and take this plate, slide it up a little bit, and pull it off. Now here are slots 1 and 2. 1 is here, 2 unfortunately is below it. That's the one we need to get the memory chip in, so we're going to pull this flap back and take this chip out. These 2 pins spread out from opposite directions, and the chip comes up like that, and we pull it out. Now we're going to pretend this is the new chip, and you're going to lift this flap up that's below and get access to the second port, and the chip goes in just this way. You see this notch here? It will only line up one direction, so you don't have to worry about putting the chip in backwards. Put that in there like that, and make sure these cables get out of the way. And then once this is firmly in at an angle, you're going to push down on it, and these two pins will snap in on either side of the memory chip. If you see any of the copper for the teeth along the bottom of the memory chip, then it's not in properly, and that probably will be evident by these not grasping the memory chip and clicking into place properly. We need to go at it again. I'm going to pull this back out and put it back in slot 1 since I'm not adding a memory chip to this laptop. So we're back here to slot 1. I am lining up the notch here, putting it in at an angle, and then pushing it down. And you can barely see a little bit of the copper fingers, but you shouldn't be able to see much at all. So then let that flap go back over. We're going to push these Wi-Fi cables back down into place, make sure they're out of the way. Add this silver plate, put it in place and drag it back over for the screw hole to line up, and then put this tiny little screw back in place. Not too tight. Fold the keyboard back over, and on this edge you'll see these tabs. These tabs need to go underneath. Then you can set it down and work the keyboard until you can get it down flat, until all of the tabs along this bottom edge are able to be pushed underneath the base. And you're going to push down on the keyboard and pull back. And you may have to work back and forth across the keyboard several times to get that in there. And you will end with barely any seam along this edge here. You have to get it close as you can because you need the screws to line up. This little nib came off. So got that on there. I'm going to close the lid, flip it back over, and put the screws for the keyboard back in place. Oop, don't drop them. Okay, I'm going to find that later. So we'll pretend that we put 3 screws in. Now, when putting this panel back on, there are some tabs along the bottom. Make sure that they go in here first. So you're going to put it in an angle. It should slide right in and drop this down on place. And from this bottom portion out, start working our way up and pushing down, because there's several clips, and you'll feel them pop into place. We'll work our way up and around. Now it's not going to push down flush where all the screw holes are, so don't worry about those for now. Just make sure that you've got all of the tabs pushed in. Then we can start putting the screws in. I like to start right here. That will pull this part flush. Same with the other parts where there are screws. If it's not flush, putting the screw in should cause it to go flush. So like right here, if the screw doesn't want to go in, try backing it out a little until it clicks a few times and then go back in. And these all should go in fairly easy. You know, and when you're tightening them, you don't have to put too much pressure, just enough to, you know, make sure you know that it's not going to come out. And that's it. You turn your laptop on. If you check the system properties in Windows, you should see 32 gigs of RAM now. If you don't, you've done something wrong, and we're going to try again. That's it. Thank you.